Yeah, I know. It's been a minute. And no, this is not a fever dream. This is still the Cafe Noir, just without the cafe. Or the kitchen, for that matter. But, since the kitchen's been burned to ash, and we left on quite a high note, well, I figured, fuck it. We're surrounded by boxes because my living situation sucks. Nothing new there. So I thought, why not? And if you thought that I was going to stay quiet forever, well, clearly you don't know much about the Cafe Noir, the Killer Kitchen, or Vincent Victorian. You see, I'm about as stubborn as they come. Especially when I've got something to say and the people at YouTube are working real hard to keep me silent. So, for all you Californians out there watching, we've got something real special for you. I know how everybody likes censorship, and I know how everybody likes to put the corporate chokehold on anybody with a new idea or a fresh idea on an old subject. And I love the way that conservatives are treated like we are the boogeyman hiding in the closet. Then yeah, I'm fucking pissed. And you know what? A lot of you should be too. Because you've been robbed of what could have been a great show because censors, ignorant liberals, and stupid people always want to silence those of us who want to try and do something and give it a little bit of flair while keeping it somewhat unique. And that's fine. Because I'm about as unique as they come. And the thing is, I might wear more makeup than my mom, but I'll tell you something else. I still know that I'm a boy, and I know what bathroom to use. This is the Killer Kitchen. I guess you can call it that. And tonight, we're going to be watching The Boogeyman while making a special kind of cake. Perfect for the liberal at home, and perfect for the liberal in your home. And don't feel too neglected. You see, we got something to make you feel right at home. Some Fruity Pebbles. Perfect for the Californian inside of us all. We'll see you right here in a sec.
Watch me fool Fred out of his pebbles. Tell your future Fred Flintstone.
Okay, Swami.
I see someone after your most prized possession.
Who, Swami? Who?
Oh, it's not clear. I need food for thought.
Try some Fruity Pebbles.
Very delicious.
Let me take a look. Bedrock Bowling League? Barney, my Pebbles!
Didn't mean to bowl you over, Fred.
Most fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Yabba dabba delicious.
should have gone right into his office, taken a whole dozen of those cola bottles and taken a whole dozen and just... Fuck you. Oh, Jesus.
But is anyone hurt? You don't understand. We live right next door, and I wanted to come over and see her. She's a friend of mine. We've been friends for a long time, and I'd like to find out if anything...
Everything is going to be just fine. Okay, now why don't you just go home?
But you don't...
Watch your back.
Right? Oh, could you please? I want to talk to her. I have to talk to her. She's a friend of mine.
Go to bed, okay?
You don't understand.
Forget it.
Hey, you better hold up with that until Gerlin has seen the body.
6 Charlie 9, Sergeant Gerlin will be arriving shortly. Please stand by.
10-4.
So afraid. So afraid to have her own room. I told you not to move her. After what happened to Denny.
I think, Mr. Billings, we should have a little talk. As I understand it, Mr. Billings, you discovered the child's body. Well, is that right?
Yes.
How about your wife? Where was she at the time?
My wife was sleeping.
And where, Mr. Billings, was the body when you found it? Billings, where was the body?
In the bed.
In the bed. And what time was this?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. It's now 2:15. Are you telling me you took her an hour before you called the police? Answer me, Billings. Don't you find it rather strange that the same thing happened to you less than 3 months ago? Another crib death, maybe. Answer me, Billings!
You can enjoy the world of beauty, excitement, and adventure. All these and more can be yours in the wonderful world of art. And with this art test from Art Instruction Schools, you can find out if you have the interest and desire needed to become a serious art student. So to get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-USA-9898. That's 1-800-USA-9898.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and that's Jill behind the camera. We love talking on the phone, and we think that you'll like talking one-to-one with us better than those pros. Here, let me.
Hi. Hey, where's that number? Ah, there it is. Try it free. We're here 24 hours a day just for you.
First 18 seconds free. $3.99 per minute, must be over 18.
Try it free. Call now.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and that's Jill behind the camera.
Hi.
We love talking on the phone, and we think you'll like talking one-to-one with us better than those pros.
Here, let me. Hi. Hey, where's that number?
Ah, there it is. Try it free. We're here 24 hours a day just for you.
First 18 seconds free. $3.99 per minute, must be over 18.
Try it free. Call now.
Welcome back to the Killer Kitchen, kinda. Where the closets are not full of skeletons, but instead, well, my friends, instead our closets are full of feelings, fruity pebbles, and failed policies. Or I guess in my case, failed everything. So, got a trusty bag of what's left of our supplies here. Got a Red Bull, and we got our Party Rainbow Chip Cake Mix, which, I'll tell you, this is a rather interesting debacle. Kind of like tonight's film. This is Stephen King's The Boogeyman, an adaptation from 1982. Now, I remember being in Blockbuster the first time I saw this VHS sitting on the shelf, and just the picture alone. I never did rent it, and by the time I went back to go rent it, somebody rented it and stole the fucking tape. See, for you younger kids, Blockbuster was streaming before streaming, and a lot more fun. And I can't tell you how many dates I picked up in the Blockbuster lobby looking at Friday the 13th. It's about a man, most of you, if you don't know, Lester Billings, who lost 3 of his children. After the first time, in the book, he goes on to describe that he noticed that the closet door was open. Not much, it was just a crack. And it didn't mean anything to him, but his mind had kind of stored it away and kept it. So when his second daughter, or his second child, his daughter, and eventually his third, he finally comes to the realization that the boogeyman is real, got all of his children, and now the boogeyman's coming for him. And he can't understand it, but he knows that the minute he opens that closet door, there it'll be. Now, I like how they added the little, with the first child, Denny. I like the way they added that little prologue with the police and introducing you to the characters in a more intense way, rather than how in Stephen King's book It's just Lester Billings walking in, filling out paperwork, and going in to see the doctor. And it's funny, I don't think I ever really quite thought of it, because I have seen this a few times, even though I never rented it from Blockbuster. I like the way they portrayed Dr. Harper. I wasn't so thrilled with the casting choice for Lester Billings, our main antagonist here, but I think the doctor was almost perfect. It was like the Sigmund Freud almost, but also the down-to-earth, human, basically what a real therapist kind of would and does look like. Well, that is before our therapists got replaced by, yeah. Any of you familiar with the community will understand exactly what I'm talking about. And I am rambling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the box to a T. But what I'm going to do is, on this one, I'm going to separate the eggs. And I want to show you guys a cool little device I found. This right here is an egg separator. It's kind of cool. And it just, then, you know, I kind of fucked up. So, fuck it. We're not separating the eggs. We're just gonna, it's gonna be yellow. It ain't gonna be no white cake. And you know what I said? What I have to say about that? Ain't nothing perfect, and sometimes the best fuck-ups can work in our favor, because now I can use food coloring and get a cool color using the egg yolk as the base for the extra color. Anyway, I'm going to continue to ramble, so why don't we get back to the boogeyman, where, just like here in the killer kitchen, sometimes it's not what's hiding in the dark you gotta be afraid of, but right in front of your eyes.
Everything's going to be just fine. Billy, where was the body? Everything's going to be just fine. Another crib that made everything's going to be just fine. Everything's going to be just fine. Everything's going to be just
Mr. Billings, I'm Dr. Harper. Your case is an extremely interesting one.
Look, Dr. Harper, there's no sense beating around the bush, okay? I was responsible for the deaths of my children.
You mean you actually killed them?
No! I didn't, but I was responsible. You see, they were murdered.
I see. Is there something wrong, Mr. Billings?
That door.
What? It's the closet. Shall I open?
No!
Tell me, Mr. Billings, exactly how were the children murdered?
Look, don't try to jerk it out of me. I'll tell you, okay? And I'm not one of your freaks who thinks he's Napoleon or something. I know you won't believe me. It doesn't matter. I just came here to get this off my chest, okay? Okay?
Who killed the children?
Boogeyman. Boogeyman killed him. Just came out of the closet and killed him. You think I'm crazy, all right. It's written all over you. But I don't care. Just to tell will be enough.
I'm listening.
It all started when Denny was almost 5. Cheryl was about 3 and, no, Cheryl was about 4 and Andy was 3. Rita and Mia. That's my wife. We were sleeping.
Now I better get some warm milk.
Don't. Kid has to learn not to keep waking us up every time he's a bit thirsty. I'll go in and start.
Lester?
Daddy! Daddy!
Denny, what is the matter with you? Denny!
Boogeyman.
Who taught you that? Mommy? She teach you that? There's no such thing as the boogeyman. Now, come on. You just dream. Come on, lay down and go to sleep.
I can't. No, I
Listen,
can't.
you're gonna
No,
wake
I
up.
can't.
Will you just stop it? You're gonna wake up Andy and Cheryl. Will you just lay down?
Daddy!
I finally got him to calm down. And then went in and asked Rita why she wanted to teach the kid a word like boogeyman. Said she never taught him to say that.
Continue.
So anyway, later that night, Andy started crying. He did every night, right on schedule. Luckily, Cheryl was staying over with Rita's mom. That's her only granddaughter. Anyway, I'm sure if she was here, she would have been whining too. Kids, sometimes, you know, you could just... Anyway, like I was saying, Andy started crying. Rita got up. I got up and I went to the bathroom.
Would you go check in on Denny?
I need my sleep.
Here then. Lester. Here. Tuck Andy in. Come on, man. Come on.
Did you know it was the boogeyman then?
No, not then. But I did notice one thing. It didn't mean much to me then, but my mind, it stored it away, see?
What was that?
The closet door was open. Not much, just a crack. See, I knew I left it shut. See, there were dry cleaning bags in there. You know, a little kid messes around with those and...
Of course. But did you notice anything else?
Not then. See, things didn't become clear until much later. After we buried Denny, I moved Cheryl into his old room. Rita fought a tooth and nail, but I had the last word. I mean, Rita still loved me. I mean, she knew her place. She knew her station in life. I mean, I'm the king of the castle, right? I mean, I loved having the kid in with us. But you can't get overprotective. You make a kid a cripple that way. I mean, I know. My mother, every time she used to take me to the beach, she'd say, don't go out too far. You've only eaten an hour ago. Even look out for sharks, for Christ's sake. To this day, I cannot even go to the beach without I feel like I want to puke my guts out. So anyway, a few months passed. And then one night I'm putting Cheryl to bed, and she starts to scream and cry, "Boogeyman, Daddy, boogeyman." Well, that threw a jump into me. It was just like Denny.
Big news about the World Wrestling Federation. Now you can get a front row seat to the WWF's most exciting action-packed matches, as the greatest superstars in the WWF match up for non-stop fast-paced action. And it's all on a special video collector's series, not available in any store at any price. It's the WWF Collector's Edition, and it's yours now at the special introductory price of just $4.95. Yes, just $4.95 brings you your first exciting video, the best of WrestleMania. 60 minutes of legendary action featuring the Macho Man Randy Savage squaring off against the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase for the Undisputed Championship. You'll also see Jake the Snake unleash his secret weapon in a thriller versus Andre the Giant. The emotional reunion between Miss Elizabeth and the Macho Man, plus much, much more. Just $4.95 brings you all this non-stop action forever on video cassette. This special WWF Collector's Edition video series is not available in any store at any price. Call now to bring the best of the World Wrestling Federation right into your living room to enjoy again and again forever on video cassette. You'll see the biggest superstars in the WWF at their body-slamming, clothes-lining best. The Immortal Hulk Hogan, the Legion of Doom, The Undertaker, the $1 Million Man, Roddy Piper, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Bret the Hitman Hart, The Natural Disasters, and many others. Call now to get in on all the action on video cassette. Get your first WWF Collector's Edition video, the best of WrestleMania, for just $4.95. Call now. To get your first WWF Collector's Edition video for just $4.95, use your credit card and call now. This WWF video series is available exclusively from Columbia House Video. Call now.
Have you been searching for that special friend? Are you looking for someone with whom you can share your innermost thoughts and feelings?
Don't keep us waiting. Call 1-900-820-3399. $4.99 per minute, adults only.
Do you think I could be your friend? I hope so. Why don't you pick up the phone and call? I see no reason why you shouldn't.
Welcome back. Now, we're about 20 minutes into the film, give or take. I'd say more about 18. And, it's already very clear to me that the boogeyman is not hiding in the closet. He's not hiding underneath your bed. The boogeyman is truly what's left over from your childhood trauma watching the real Ghostbusters cartoon. So what we're going to do, we got that set up and ready to go. I took about 1.5 cups of our Fruity Pebbles here, and I mixed those in. Then again, I can't even say it's probably like 2 cups, because I just sort of started dumping in. It was fun. Now what we're going to do is we're going to treat both of these pans, because if there's a little spillage, better to make it so it's easy to clear off. And that would be our killer kitchen phone. There we go. Now we're going to treat this one real heavy. And of course, we got to bring out the skull mold. Now, I'm sorry guys, but if you try to call during the show, you're going to have to place your orders at a later date and time. Alright, so, those are treated right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and evenly pour it into each half. About like so. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about it, speaking of monsters and whatnot, and it occurred to me, you know, boomers had monsters under the bed. Millennials, well, they are the monsters, just a lot more colorful and way less stable. And you know, you can tell that this is more of a Gen Z type of cake because it's got Fruity Pebbles, rainbow chips, and an identity crisis. Doesn't know what the hell it wants to be. Part of it wants to be a cake, part of it wants to be fucking breakfast. I'm not sure if I should save it and have it frickin' tomorrow morning. And speaking of, did you notice the film sets, keeping things in that manner? The film sets were very tight, kind of like, you know, sort of close-quartered, right in, making what's on the screen the actual centerpiece of the screen. You know, like, minimal sets, maximum dread. And that's what I really like it. Kind of like a government budget proposal after the Democrats get office. Alright, so I'm going to finish putting this in here. Oh, man. About like that. And we're going to cook this, well, bake this at 350. Well, between 325 and 350 for about 30 minutes. Now, one thing I love about the magic here in this kitchen, we can maximize that and cut. So, I think now's a good time to where we should be getting to the conclusion of the Boogeyman. Or, wait.
Fruity Pebbles, oh, what I wouldn't do to get them from you know who. Join the band, mate.
Me?
Yeah, you got the sound we need.
Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it in your soul. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it in your bowl.
Fruity-licious.
My Fruity Pebbles are gone.
How fruitous.
Barney!
Uh-oh, the gig is up.
Post Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereal. Part of this nutritious breakfast. Yappa-dabba delicious.
I wanted to move her back to our room.
But you didn't. Well, I wasn't sure of anything. I mean, they called Denny's death a crib death. I mean, it could have been, I began to think. Maybe I was dreaming. We were so happy. What could happen?
This is Sergeant Gurley.
Hello, John. How are you?
I received a report this morning on the Billings case.
Oh?
How could you possibly call it a crib death? What about the contusion on the back of the kid's neck?
Look, we're merely calling it a crib death for lack of a better explanation. Any lawyer would tell you that those contusions can be caused by any number of things. In fact, in your own report, you have Mr. and Mrs. Billings claiming...
I have Mrs. Billings claiming nothing. Do you know why?
Take it easy, John.
Because she's locked up in some institution. Do you think she doesn't know that her husband's a murderer?
Listen, John, my report is by no means conclusive.
It simply means that you won't be able to get anywhere with the case based on the medical evidence alone. You need more.
And now here's a tune that's been topping the charts for, well, about the last 2.5 weeks now. Little Eddie Smaldone and his big hit, Fire Breathing Devil.
Your touch is so gentle, your voice is so sweet. The feeling inside is so swell. You make me see why there's a God up above and a fire breathing devil. till the end of all time. But the feeling's not there. Your touch is so gentle. Your voice is so sweet. The feeling inside is so swell. You made me see why.
Maybe if you think of a thing long enough and you believe in it, maybe it becomes real. Maybe all the things we were afraid of as kids, you know, the monsters like Frankenstein, huh? Wolfman, Mummy. Maybe they were real. Real enough to kill the kids that were supposed to drown in lakes or falling into gravel pits. Maybe.
Are you backing away from something, Mr. Billings?
I had a neighbor who stayed with Andy during the day. We kept house nights. I had Andy sleep in my room. I didn't want to move him. I was afraid to.
But you did move him, didn't you?
Yes, I moved him. Jesus Christ, you weren't fucking there. A few nights ago, I started getting pulled. The closet doors came open. The noises, the sounds, shit. I knew it would go for him because he was weaker. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
We have a great deal to talk about, Mr. Billings. Come back tomorrow and we'll talk some more.
I haven't told the police yet. I'm afraid to what they think.
I'll speak to them.
But they already think I killed Cheryl. I know they do. I had to move her out of the bathtub. Imagine if they found her there. She's just a little kid. What was he gonna tell them? That the boogeyman was playing games with me?
Oh, everything will be fine, Mr. Billings.
You say you weren't even
Billings, come on. Be a good fellow. I
I
promise.
don't want to go.
We'll talk
Stay
tomorrow,
with you.
Mr. Billings.
No,
Come on.
no.
Come on. Really. Let's go now. Come on. You go out, talk to the receptionist, and make an appointment for tomorrow.
I don't have any place to go.
See you tomorrow, Mr. Billings.
Harper, there's nobody there.
Dr. Harper. It is only a game, Mr. Billings.
Gene Shalit of NBC TV says, let's say it right at the beginning. Rocky is one of the best movies of the year. 4 stars, says the New York Daily News. Rocky hits right on the button, says Charles Champlin of the Los Angeles Times. Rona Barrett of ABC TV calls Rocky a definite Oscar contender. Newsweek says Rocky is a knockout. Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone, rated PG.
Friday the 13th, Part 3 in Super 3D. The all-new process that puts you in the picture. Whether you want to be there or not. It will scare you. Count on it. Friday the 13th, Part 3 in Super 3D. Rated R.
Now playing in Sacramento. Check newspapers for theaters and showtime.
There's a legend round here. A killer buried, but not dead. Few have seen him and lived. Some have even tried to stop him. No one can. They say he died as a boy.
You see, Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
Some have even tried to stop him. No one can.
I want you to concentrate. Think about your feelings and just focus them in on the matchbook. Maybe we can get it to move. Concentrate. Concentrate!
What's happening to me?
Goes the neighborhood.
Cafe Noir was recorded in front of a live studio audience.
The next course will be served in a moment.
Okay, so, as you can see, we've colored in our 3D skull a little bit. In fact, I'll tell you, they were only good for one use per piece, so that's what you get. But, we decided to go with a 3D. And what we're going to do is to add just a little bit to that. We've got a couple M&Ms. Oh. One red and one green. And unlike the M&M that you hear on the fucking radio, these actually sound as good as they taste. Not that I would know what that would taste like, but I am a carnivore, and I'd imagine it probably smells like crack pipe resin and tastes just as bad. And for those of you with the smart comment, yes, I would know what crack resin tastes like. Not in about 15 years, though. Especially not since this fentanyl shit came about. Anyway. Now here's what's going to get a little messy. We added some frosting to this side, and we kind of let it sit in here. That way it gets a nice sticky, and that's going to be our glue to put these together. You're going to want to use your hands because a utensil is just going to be too harsh on what you're doing. Ever so slightly. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my finger and try to gently pull out just a little bit. There we go. Just a little divot. Now we're going to do the same thing on this end. Or this side. Now this is your face, so you want to be extra careful doing this. And again, we're just going to dig a little tiny piece out. Oh hell, I gotta try it. Holy shit, it tastes like Fruity Pebbles. That's good. Giving it a little divot. Don't worry, we'll put our M&Ms back. Just set them to the side. Now, we've got our... I gotta wash my fucking hands. Nothing like little side atrocities to keep the show going. Alright, now, we happen to have our banana pudding ready to go, and it's been sitting long enough where it's got a good set now. We're just going to take a little bit. Get that down in there. Just like that. And because this is set, this pudding will almost work very well as an extra glue source in that area. And as you can see, this is why you got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because our skull is starting to split. Of course, if you were made in California, your skull would probably split too. Now we're going to gently pick this up. I'm going to use my finger to kind of mold right here. Matter of fact, let me steal some of this frosting. Okay, that didn't work. However, this is part two. We've got some melted frosting. And we're going to take just a little bit, and drizzle it just like that. Just like so. Then we're going to take the rest of this and set it aside. And I'm going to take a drink because my beer can's in the way. Now, we're going to take and gently press these together. And we're going to hold them together for just a few seconds. Get them nice and tight. Something just about like that. Got green, we got red, we got 3D eyes. Now if I can get this to settle for just a minute while I fucking set up our next step, this motherfucker's gonna be a bitch. Pardon me. Yeah, apparently we haven't learned how to glue it together yet. But that's okay. Let's try something here. What if we... Oh, fuck. No, it's just not gonna work today, boys and girls. You know, they say every man carries his own karma. I think this is our karma today. That's too bad. I was really hoping that this would have been cool. Now, why don't we cut to a quick commercial? And I'm going to go take and throw this in the freezer and try to let it set a little bit before we fuck around anymore.
America's first family.
Gloria, will you hurry it up? Your father's got me in another one of his stupid arguments. Of course, when you're arguing about something stupid with somebody who's also stupid, the argument is bound to be stupid. Right, stupid? We got a show for you.
All in the family.
In the world of professional wrestling, one man is king.
Get ready, Australia. I'm heading your way, and I'm bringing the greatest wrestlers in the whole wide world.
Hulkamania, the ultimate wrestling spectacular. Tickets on sale 9 a.m. Thursday at Ticketek.
Let the battle begin.
Call him charming.
These yours?
Call him loving.
What? Who are you?
It's just Hulk Hogan.
Perfect timing.
Do you belong to some kind of an army? Or do you just go around doing good like some kind of superhero?
Hulk Hogan, Christopher Lloyd, Suburban Commando.
How do you know which ones are the right ones?
You have to squeeze it a bit.
I found a good one.
Rated PG. Starts Friday, October 4th at a theater near you.
Chips! Gotta have beef, gotta have spice. Need a little excitement? Snap it to a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah!
Gene shallot of NBC TV says, let's say it right at the beginning. Rocky is one of the best movies of the year. 4 stars, says the New York Daily News. Rocky hits right on the button, says Charles Champlin of the Los Angeles Times. Rona Barrett of ABC TV calls Rocky a definite Oscar contender. Newsweek says Rocky is a knockout. Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone, rated PG.
Friday the 13th, Part 3 in Super 3D. The all-new process that puts you in the picture. Whether you want to be there or not. It will scare you. Count on it. Friday the 13th, Part 3 in Super 3D. Rated R.
Now playing in Sacramento. Check newspapers for theaters and showtime.
All right. Now, that took a few seconds longer than expected. This is our cake, and this is our frosting. Now, this right here is going to be the beginning of our drizzle. Now, what I've done is I took a chocolate pudding cup, and Bill Cosby, I'm sorry, but you know, chocolate, in my opinion, is better when it's completely black. Especially when it's Jell-O frosting. And for those of you that want to bitch about me being like racist or some other kind of weird shit, I didn't mean it that way. But whenever I think Jell-O, I think Bill Cosby. In fact, I only buy Jell-O now when I have to from Jell-O brand. Only because when I have to, ever since they got rid of Bill Cosby. Now, I know the guy did some dirty shit and he got prosecuted over some fucked up dirty shit. But I still like to think of Bill Cosby from his 1977 stand-up, where he's talking about raising a family and his little kid running up and down the yard with buckets of water. I said, what are you doing? I'm just filling up the hole with water. Maybe I don't do it justice, but Bill Cosby, you go back, you listen. Bill Cosby was a classic comedian, and he didn't need all the dirty stuff. He didn't need all the swearing. He didn't need all the sexual stuff. He was funny because he was real. And the fact that he was clean made it so it was entertainment for the whole family. And whether you're 5 or you're 50, you could enjoy the entertainment for the entertainment value. And unfortunately, with the uprising of people like Andrew Dice Clay, that guy with his Muppets, and a lot of this new stuff, you really don't get the clean comedy anymore, you know? I mean, even in the 70s we had Red Fox. Now, I could go into it, but I have a feeling that if I try to tell a Red Fox joke, I'll end up getting kicked off of YouTube permanently. You know, but Red Fox. Another one, George Carlin, classic comics. These were good comedians, but by the 1970s, we lost clean comedy, and it gave way to the more perverse, the more swearing, the more obnoxious you could be, and that's what people thought was funny. But classic comedy, real comedy. Go back, listen to some real comics from 1956, 1957. AJAX Liquor Store, 1957. Man, you're having quite a party. No, I'm just trying to work up the nerve to go to confession. Go look it up. AJAX Liquor Store, 1957 comedy sketch. Trust me, you'll thank me later. In fact, I'm going to try to pull it up, and I'm going to leave a link for somebody else's YouTube shit so I don't have to post it and get in more trouble, go check it out. It's fucking hilarious. I had this record, and I remember the first time I heard this record, the first time I ever had a drink, me and my cousin hanging out down in the basement drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon. And that record, we'd played it. It was the funniest thing either one of us heard. At least before I fell asleep under the pool table. Hey, no disrespect, I ain't gonna like say your name, but that was a cool night. Thank you for introducing me to my first beer. And thank you for introducing me to Pucker. However, Pucker, as good as it may be, still can't compare to my Miller Lite. So now, anyway. Drop that down in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some thicker frosting out of our cup. We're just going to mix it and give it a kind of a marble. Something about like that. Now, if you guys will take a good solid look here. Yeah, sorry, don't mind the camera work. I'm fucking with the cam Pam. That's why she's a great camera operator. She knows. There's our marble. And now, we're just going to drizzle it across. All the way down. And just imagine how good that's going to taste and how cool that's going to look when we cut into that sucker and it starts bleeding out pink brains that are banana flavored. You know, kind of like what happens when you cut... Never mind, I won't go there. There you go. I'm going to take... Yeah, that didn't work. That's okay, we got this. Let's kind of clump it in there. And that just totally... There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is Killer Kitchen's presentation of the Boogie Fruity Cake. And no, there is no pun intended on that one. Look, I've had too much to drink, I've had too much to cook, and apparently not enough fucking brain cells left to fucking finish this. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for enjoying the afternoon and the beginning of our evening. But see, I got some classic jazz cooking. I got some meal ready to go cooking that I'm about to start. And you know, I could show you what it is, but nobody's interested in watching me make TV dinners. So, that being said, this is Killer Kitchen. I'm your host, Vincent Victorian. Once again, saying thank you for joining us. Keep it macabre, keep it great, and let's make horror great again. You know, kind of like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, back when movies were still good.
A ghost! Only a Fruity Pebbles can set my spirit free!
My Fruity Pebbles? Okay.
Frighteningly fruity flavors! Thanks, Fred.
Barney!
Boo.
Yeah!
Bon appetit!
Post Fruity Pebbles cereal, part of this complete breakfast.
I came to you because I want to tell my story, the man on Dr. Harper's couch was saying. The man was Lester Billings from Waterbury, Connecticut. According to the history taken from Nurse Vickers, he was 28, employed by an industrial firm in New York, divorced, and the father of 3 children, all deceased. I can't go to a priest because I'm not a Catholic. I can't go to a lawyer because I haven't done anything to consult a lawyer about. All I did was kill my kids, one at a time, Killed them all. Dr. Harper turned on the tape recorder. Billings lay straight as a yardstick on the couch, not giving it an inch of himself. His feet protruded stiffly over the end. Picture of a man enduring necessary humiliation. His hands were folded corpse-like on his chest. His face was carefully set. He looked at the plain white composition ceiling as if seeing scenes and pictures played out there. Do you mean you actually killed them, or... No. Impatient flick of the hand. But I was responsible. Denny in 67, Cheryl in 71, and Andy this year. I want to tell you about it. Dr. Harper said nothing. He thought that Billings looked haggard and old. His hair was thinning, his complexion sallow. His eyes held all the miserable secrets of whiskey. They were murdered, see? Only no one believes that. If they would, things would be all right. Why is that? Because. Billings broke off and darted up on his elbows, staring across the room. What's that? He barked. His eyes had narrowed to black slots. What's that? That door. The closet, Dr. Harper said. Where I hang my coat and leave my overshoes. Open it. I want to see. Dr. Harper got up, wordlessly, crossed the room and opened the closet. Inside, a tan raincoat hung on one of 4 or 5 hangers. Beneath that was a pair of shiny galoshes. The New York Times had been carefully tucked into one of them. That was all. All right, Dr. Harper said. All right. Billings removed the props of his elbow and returned to his previous position. You were saying, Dr. Harper said as he went back to his chair, that if the murder of your 3 children could be proved, all your troubles would be over. Why is that? I go to jail, Billings said immediately. For life. And you can see into all the rooms in a jail. All the rooms. He smiled at nothing. How were your children murdered? Don't try and jerk it out of me. Billings twitched around and stared balefully at Harper. I'll tell you, don't worry. I'm not one of your freaks strutting around and pretending to be Napoleon or explaining that I got hooked on heroin because my mother didn't love me. I know you won't believe me. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just to tell will be enough. All right. Dr. Harper got out his pipe. I married Rita in 1965. I was 21. She was 18. She was pregnant. That was Denny. His lips twisted in a rubbery, frightening grin that was gone in a wink. I had to leave college and get a job. But I didn't mind. I loved both of them. We were very happy. Rita got pregnant just a little while after Denny was born, and Cheryl came along in December of 66. Andy came in the summer of 69, and Denny was already dead by then. Andy was an accident. That's what Rita said. She said sometimes that birth control stuff doesn't work. I think it was more than an accident. Children tie a man down, you know? Women like that. Especially when the man is brighter than they. Don't you find that's true? Harper grunted noncommittally. It doesn't matter, though. I loved him anyway. He said it almost vengefully, as if he had loved the child to spite his wife. Who killed the children? Harper asked. The boogeyman. Lester Billings answered immediately. The boogeyman killed them all. Just came out of the closet and killed them. He twisted around and grinned. You think I'm crazy, all right. It's written all over you. But I don't care. All I want to do is tell you, and then get lost. I'm listening, Harper said. It started when Denny was almost 2 and Cheryl was an infant. She started crying when Rita put him to bed. We had a 2-bedroom place, see. Cheryl slept in a crib in our room. At first I thought he was crying because he didn't have a bottle to take to bed anymore. Rita said don't make an issue of it. Let it go. Let him have it and he'll drop it on his own. That's the way kids start out bad. You get permissive with them, spoil them, then they break your heart. Get some girl knocked up, or start shooting dope. Or they get to be sissies. Can you imagine waking up some morning and finding your kid, your son, is a sissy? After a while, though, when he didn't stop, I started putting him to bed myself. And if he didn't stop crying, I'd give him a whack. Then Rita said he was saying light over and over again. Well, I don't know. Kids that little, how can you tell what they're saying? Only a mother can tell. Rita wanted to put in a nightlight. One of those wall plug things with Mickey Mouse or Huckleberry Hound or something on it. And I wouldn't let her. If a kid doesn't get over being afraid of the dark when he's little, he never gets over it. Anyway, he died the summer after Cheryl was born. I put him to bed that night and he started to cry right off. I heard what he said that time. He pointed right at the closet when he said it. Boogeyman, the kid says. Boogeyman, Daddy. I turned off the light and I went into our room and asked Rita why she wanted to teach the kid a word like that. I was tempted to slap her around a little, but I didn't. She said she never taught him to say that. I called her a goddamn liar. That was a bad summer for me, see. The only job I could get was loading Pepsi-Cola trucks in a warehouse, and I was tired all the time. Cheryl would wake up and cry every night, and Rita'd pick her up and sniffle. I tell you, sometimes I felt like throwing them both out a window. Christ. Kids drive you crazy sometimes. You could kill them. Well, the kid woke me up, 3 a.m, right on schedule. I went to the bathroom, only a quarter awake, and Rita asked me if I'd check on Denny. I told her to do it herself and went back to bed. I was almost asleep when she started to scream. I got up and went in. The kid was dead on his back, just as white as flour except for where the blood had sunk. Back of the legs, the head, the buttocks. His eyes were open. That was the worst, wide open and glassy, like the eyes you see on a moose head some guy put over his mantle, like pictures you see of those gook kids over in Nam. But an American kid shouldn't look like that. Dead on his back, wearing diapers and rubber pants because he's been wetting himself again the last couple of weeks. Awful. I love that kid. Billings shook his head slowly, then offered the rubbery, frightening grin again. Rita was screaming her head off. She tried to pick Denny up and rock him, but I wouldn't let her. The cops don't like you to touch any of the evidence. I know that. Did you know it was the boogeyman then? Harper asked quietly. Oh, no, not then. But I did see one thing. It didn't mean anything to me then, but my mind stored it away. What was that? The closet door was open. Not much, just a crack. But I knew I left it shut, see? There's dry cleaning bags in there. The kid messes around with one of those and bango, asphyxiation. You know that? Yes. What happened then? Billings shrugged. We planted him. He looked morbidly at his hands, which had thrown dirt on 3 tiny coffins. Was there an inquest? Sure. Billings' eyes flashed with sardonic brilliance. Some backcountry fuckhead with a stethoscope and a black bag full of junior mints and a sheepskin from some cow college. Crib death, he called it. You ever hear such a pile of yellow manure? The kid was 3 years old. Oh, crib death is most common during the first year, Harper said carefully. But that diagnosis has gone on death certificates for children up to age 5 for want of a better. Bullshit! Billings spat out violently. Harper relit his pipe. We moved Cheryl into Denny's room a month after the funeral. Rita fought it tooth and nail, but I had the last word. Yeah, it hurt me. Of course it did. Jesus, I loved having the kid in with us, but you can't get overprotective. You make a kid a cripple that way. When I was a kid, my mom used to take me to the beach and then scream herself hoarse. Don't go out so far! Don't go there! It's got an undertow! You only ate a half hour ago! Don't go over your head! Even to watch out for sharks! So what happens? I can't even go near the water now. It's the truth. I get cramps if I go near a beach. Rita got me to take her and the kids to Savin Rock once when Denny was alive. I got sick as a dog. I know, see, you can't overprotect kids. And you can't coddle yourself either. Life goes on. Cheryl went right into Denny's crib. We sent the old mattress to the dump, though. I don't want my girl to get any germs. So a year goes by. And one night when I'm putting Cheryl into her crib, she starts to yowl and scream and cry, "Boogeyman, Daddy! Boogeyman, Boogeyman!" That threw a jump into me. It was just like Denny. I started to remember about that closet door. Opened just a crack when we found him. I wanted to take her into our room for the night. Did you? No. Billings regarded his hands and his face twitched. How could I go to Rita and admit I was wrong? I had to be strong. She was always such a jellyfish. Look how easy she went to bed with me when we weren't married. On the other hand, look how easily you went to bed with her. Billings froze in the act of rearranging his hands and slowly turned his head to look at Harper. Are you trying to be a wise guy? No, indeed. Then let me tell it my way. I came here to get this off my chest, to tell my story, and I'm not going to talk about my sex life if that's what you expect. Rita and I had a very normal sex life with none of that dirty stuff. I know it gives some people a charge to talk about that, but I'm not one of them. Okay. Okay. Billings echoed with uneasy arrogance. He seemed to have lost the thread of his thought, and his eyes wandered uneasily to the closet door, which was firmly shut. Would you like that open? Harper asked. No, Billings said quickly. He gave a nervous little laugh. What do I want to look at your overshoes for? The boogeyman got hurt too. He brushed at his forehead as if sketching memories. A month later, but something happened before that. I heard a noise in there one night, and then she screamed. I opened the door real quick. The hall light was on, and she was sitting up in the crib crying. Something moved. Back in the shadows by the closets, something slithered. Was the closet door open? A little. Just a crack. Billings licked his lips. Cheryl was screaming about the boogeyman. Something that sounded like claws. Only she said craws. You know, little kids have trouble with that sound. Rita ran upstairs and asked what the matter was. I said she got scared by the shadow of the branches moving on the ceiling. Crosset? Harper said. Huh? Crosset? Closet? Maybe she was trying to say closet? Maybe. Maybe that was it. I don't think so. I think it was claws. His eyes began seeking the closet door again. Claws. Long claws. His voice had sunk to a whisper. Did you look in the closet? Yes. Billings' hands were laced tightly across his chest, laced tightly enough to show a white moon at each knuckle. Was there anything in there? Did you see that? I didn't see anything! Billings screamed suddenly, and the words poured out as if a black cork had been pulled from the bottom of his soul. When she died, I found her, see? And she was black. All black. She swallowed her own tongue, and she was just as black as a nigger in a minstrel show. She was staring at me. Her eyes, they look like those eyes you see on stuffed animals, all shiny and awful, like live marbles. And they were saying, "It got me, Daddy. You let it get me. You killed me. You helped it kill me." His words trailed off. One single tear, very large and silent, ran down the side of his cheek. It was a brain convulsion, see? Kids get those sometimes. A bad signal from the brain. They had an autopsy at Hartford Receiving, and they told us she choked on her tongue from the convulsion. I had to go home alone because they kept Rita under sedation. She was out of her mind. I had to go back to that house all alone. And I know a kid don't just get convulsions because their brain frigged up. You can scare a kid into convulsions. And I had to go back to the house where it was. I slept on the couch with the light on. Did anything happen? I had dreams. I was in a dark room, and there was something I couldn't quite see in the closet. It made a noise. A squishy noise. It reminded me of a comic book I read when I was a kid. Tales from the Crypt. You remember that? Christ. They had a guy named Graham Ingalls. God, he could draw every god-awful thing in the world. And some out of it. Anyway, in this story, this woman drowned her husband. You see, she put cement blocks on his feet and dropped him into a quarry. Only he came back. He was all rotted and black-green, and the fish had eaten away one of his eyes, and there's seaweed in his hair. He came back and killed her. And when I woke up in the middle of the night, I thought that would be leaning over me. With claws. Long claws. Dr. Harper looked at the digital clock inset into his desk. Lester Billings had been speaking for nearly half an hour. He said, "When your wife came back home, what was her attitude towards you?" "She still loved me," Billings said with pride. "She still wanted to do what I told her. I mean, that's the wife's place, right? This women's lib only makes sick people. The most important thing in life is for a person to know his place. His station in life? Yeah, that's it. That's it exactly. And a wife should follow her husband." She was sort of colorless the first 4 or 5 months after. Dragged around the house. Didn't sing, didn't watch the TV. It didn't laugh. I knew she'd get over it. When they're that little, you don't get so attached to them. After a while, you have to go to the bureau drawer and look at a picture to even remember exactly what they looked like. She wanted another baby. I told her it was a bad idea. No, not forever, but for a while. I told her it was a time for us to get over things and begin to enjoy each other. See, we never had a chance to do that before. If you wanted to go to a movie, you had to hassle around for a babysitter. You couldn't go into town to see the Mets unless her folks would take the kids, because my mom wouldn't have had anything to do with us. Denny was born too soon after we were married, see? She wouldn't even come to the wedding. Billings drubbed his chest with his fingers. Rita's gynecologist sold her on this thing called an IUD, interuterine device. Foolproof, doctor says. He just sticks it up the woman's... her place. That's it. And if there's anything in there, the egg can't fertilize. You don't even know what's in there. He smiled at the ceiling with dark sweetness. No one knows if it's there or not. Next year, she's pregnant again. Some foolproof. No birth control method is perfect, Harper said. The pill's only 98%. The IUD may be ejected by cramps, strong menstrual flow, and in exceptional cases by evacuation. Yeah. Or you can take it out. That's possible. So what's next? She's knitting little things, singing in the shower, eating pickles like crazy, sitting on my lap and saying things about how, oh, it must have been God's will. Piss. The baby came at the end of the year, after Cheryl's death? Yeah, that's right. A boy. She named it Andrew Lester Billings. I didn't want anything to do with it. At least at first. My motto was, she screwed up, so let her take care of it. I know how that sounds, but you have to remember that I'd been through a lot. But I warmed up to him, you know? He was the only one of the litter that looked like me, for one thing. Denny looked like his mother. And Cheryl, she didn't look like anybody, except maybe my Grammy Ann. But Andy was a spitting image of me. I'd get to playing around with him in his playpen when I got home from work. See, he'd grab only my finger and smile and gurgle. You're 9 weeks old and the kid's grinning up as his old dad. You believe that? Then one night, here I'm coming out of a drugstore with a mobile to hang over the kid's crib. Me! The kids don't appreciate presents until they're old enough to say thank you. That was always my motto, but there I was. Buying him silly crap, and all at once I realized I love him the most of all. I had another job by then, a pretty good one. I was selling drill bits for Klutz and Sons. I did real well. And when Andy was 1, we moved to Waterbury. God, that old place, it's too many bad memories. And too many closets. But that next year was the best one for us. I'd give every finger on my right hand to have it back again. The war in Vietnam was still going on, and the hippies were still running around with no clothes, and the niggers were yelling a lot, but none of that touched us. We're on a quiet street with nice neighbors. We were happy. He summed it up simply. I asked Rita once if she wasn't worried. Bad luck comes in threes and all that. She said, not for us. She said Andy was special. She said God had drawn a ring around him. Billings looked morbidly at the ceiling. Last year wasn't so good. Something about the house changed. I started keeping my boots in the hall because I didn't like to open the closet door anymore. I kept thinking, well, what if it's in there? All crouched down and ready to spring the second I opened the door. And I started thinking I could hear squishy noises as if something black and green and wet was moving around in there, just a little. Rita asked me if I was working too hard. I started to snap at her just like the old days. I got sick to my stomach leaving them alone to go to work, but I was glad to get out. God help me, I was glad to get out. I started to think, see, that it lost us for a while when we moved. It had to hunt around, slinking through the streets at night, maybe creeping in the sewers, smelling for us. It took a year, but it found us. It's back. It wants Andy and it wants me. I started to think, maybe think of a thing long enough and believe in it, it gets real. Maybe all the monsters we were scared of when we were kids, Frankenstein and Wolfman and the Mummy, maybe they were real. Real enough to kill the kids that were supposed to have just fallen into gravel pits or drowned in lakes, or were just never found. Maybe. Are you backing away from something, Mr. Billings? Billings was silent for a long time. 2 minutes clicked off the digital clock. Then he said abruptly, Andy died in February. Rita wasn't there. She got a call from her father. Her mother had been in a car crash the day after New Year's and wasn't expected to live, so she took a bus back that night. Her mother didn't die. She was on the critical list for a long time, 2 months. I had a very good woman who stayed with Andy days, and we kept house nights. Closet doors kept coming open. Billings licked his lips. The kid was sleeping in the room with me. It's funny, too. Rita asked me once, when he was 2, if I wanted to move him into another room. Spock, or one of those other quacks, claims it's bad for kids to sleep with their parents, see? It's supposed to give them all traumas about sex and all that. But we never did it unless the kid was asleep. I didn't want to move him. I was afraid to, after Denny and Cheryl. But you did move him, didn't you? Dr. Harper asked. Yeah, Billings said. He smiled a sick yellow smile. I did. Silence again. Billings wrestled with it. I had to! He barked finally. I had to! It was all right when Rita was there, but when she was gone, it started to get bolder. It started... He rolled his eyes at Harper and bared his teeth in a savage grin. Oh, you won't believe it. I know what you think. Just another goofy for your casebook, I know that. But you weren't there, you lousy smug head peeper. One night, every door in the house blew wide open. One morning, I got up and found a trail of mud and filth across the hall between the coat closet and the front door. Was it going out? Coming in? I don't know. Before Jesus, I just don't know. Records all scratched up and covered with slime, mirrors broken, and the sounds. Oh, the sounds. He ran a hand through his hair. You'd wake up at 3 in the morning and look into the dark, and at first you'd say, oh, it's only the clock. But underneath, you could hear something moving in a stealthy way, but not too stealthy, because it wanted you to hear it. A sliming, sliding sound like something from the kitchen drain, or a clicking sound like claws being dragged lightly over the staircase banister, and you'd close your eyes, knowing that hearing it was bad, but if you saw it... And always, you'd be afraid that the noise might stop for a little while, and then there'd be a laugh right over your face, and a breath of air like stale cabbage on your face, and then hands on your throat. Billings was pallid and trembling. So I moved him. I knew it would go for him, see? Because he was weaker. Very first night, he screamed in the middle of the night, and finally, when I got up the cojones to go in, he was standing up in bed and screaming, "The boogeyman, Daddy! Boogeyman! Wanna go with Daddy! Go with Daddy!" Billings' voice had become a high treble, like a child's. His eyes seemed to fill his entire face. He almost seemed to shrink on the couch. "But I couldn't!" The childish breaking treble continued. "I couldn't!" And an hour later there was a scream. An awful gurgling scream. And I knew how much I loved him because I ran in. I didn't even turn on the lights. I ran him. Oh, Jesus God, Mary, it had him. It was shaking him. Shaking him just like a terrier shakes a piece of cloth. And I could see something with awful slumped shoulders and a scarecrow head. And I could smell something like a dead mouse in a pop bottle. And I heard... He trailed off. And his voice clicked back into an adult range. "I heard it when Andy's neck broke." Billings' voice was cool and dead. It made a sound like ice cracking when you're skating on a country pond in winter. "Then what happened?" "Oh, I ran," Billings said in the same cool, dead voice. "I went to an all-night diner." "How's that for complete cowardice?" "Ran to an all-night diner and drank 6 cups of coffee. Then I went home. It was already dawn. I called the police even before I went upstairs. He was lying on the floor and staring at me, accusing me. A tiny drop of blood had run out of one ear. Only a drop, really. And the closet door was open, but just a crack. The voice stopped. Harper looked at the digital clock. 50 minutes had passed. "Make an appointment with the nurse. In fact, several of them. Tuesdays and Thursdays." I only came to tell my story. To get it off my chest. I lied to the police, see? Told them the kid must have tried to get out of his crib in the night and they swallowed it. Of course they did. That's just what it looked like. Accidental. Like the others. But Rita knew. Rita finally knew. He covered his eyes with his right arm and began to weep. "Mr. Billings, there's a great deal to talk about," Dr. Harper said after a pause. "I believe we can remove some of the guilt you've been carrying. But first, you have to want to get rid of it." "Don't you believe I do?" Billings cried, removing his arm from his eyes. They were red, raw, wounded. "Not yet," Harper said quietly. "Tuesdays and Thursdays?" After a long silence, Billings muttered, "Goddamn shrink. All right. All right. Make an appointment with the nurse, Mr. Billings. And have a good day." Billings laughed emptily and walked out of the office quickly, without looking back. The nurse's station was empty. A small sign on the desk blotter said, "Back in a minute." Billings turned and went back into the office. "Doctor, your nurse is..." The room was empty, but the closet door was open. Just a crack.
"All right,"
the voice from the closet said.
So nice.
The words sounded as if they might have come through a mouthful of rotten seaweed. Billings stood rooted to the spot as the closet door swung open. He dimly felt warmth at his crotch as he wet himself.
So nice.
The boogeyman said as it shambled out. It still held its Dr. Harper mask in one rotted, spade-clawed hand. The end.
Fruity Pebbles are what I wouldn't do to get them from you know who. Join the band, mate. Me? Yeah, you got the sound we need. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it in your soul. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it in your bowl. Fruity-licious.
My Fruity Pebbles are gone.
How fruitous.
Barney!
Uh-oh, the gig is up.
Post Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Yappa-dabba delicious.
Watch me fool Fred out of his pebbles. Tell your future Fred Flintstone.
Okay, Swami.
I see someone after your most prized possession.
Who, Swami? Who?
Oh, it's not clear. I need food for thought.
Try some Fruity Pebbles.
Very delicious.
Let me take a look. Bedrock Bowling League. Barney, my Pebbles.
Didn't mean to bowl you over, Fred.
Post Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Yabba-dabba delicious.
The NBC television schedule is brought to you especially recorded for rebroadcast in this time zone on KNBC Channel 4.
America's first family.
Gloria, will you hurry it up? Your father's got me in another one of his stupid arguments. That's boys, when you're arguing about something stupid with somebody who's also stupid, the argument is bound to be stupid. Right, stupid? And we got a show for you.
All in the family.
In the world of professional wrestling, one man is king.
Get ready, Australia. I'm heading your way, and I'm bringing the greatest wrestlers in the whole wide world.
Hulkamania, the ultimate wrestling spectacular. Tickets on sale 9 a.m. Thursday at Ticketek.
Let the battle begin.
Call him charming,
These yours?
Call him loving.
What? Who are you?
It's just Hulk Hogan.
Perfect timing.
Do you belong to some kind of an army? Or you just go around doing good like some kind of superhero?
Hulk Hogan, Christopher Lloyd, Suburban Commando.
How do you know which ones are the right ones?
Need to squeeze it a bit.
I found a good one.
Rated PG. Starts Friday, October 4th at a theater near you.
Chip! Gotta have beef, gotta have spice. Need a little excitement? Snap into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah!
Gene Shalit of NBC TV says, let's say it right at the beginning. Rocky is one of the best movies of the year. 4 stars, says the New York Daily News. Rocky hits right on the button, says Charles Champlin of the Los Angeles Times. Rona Barrett of ABC TV calls Rocky a definite Oscar contender. Newsweek says Rocky is a knockout. Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone. Rated PG.
Friday the 13th, Part 3 in Super 3D. The all-new process that puts you in the picture. Whether you want to be there or not. It will scare you. Count on it. Friday the 13th, Part 3 in Super 3D. Rated R.
Now playing in Sacramento. Check newspapers for theaters and showtime.
There's a legend round here. A killer buried, but not dead. Few have seen him and lived. Some have even tried to stop him. No one can. They say he died as a boy.
You see, Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
Some have even tried to stop him. No one can.
I want you to concentrate. Think about your feelings and just focus them in on the matchbook. Maybe we can get it to move.